within your family. But luckily, I'm not from that type of family anyway. Lucky me on that aspect. So going to school, because yeah, we have only one blind school. So going to school by then, in the early days was a little bit fine because I was with my, friends who are blind. Um, but you would see that later we are transferred, because the blind is only primary school. So when you reach to the grade of 5 and 6, or sometimes 6, but in my case, 5 and 6, then we have to transfer to other mainstream schools. They call it mainstreaming. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah. So that mainstreaming, comes with, a little bit of, challenges as a first timer, within, you know, students that, you never knew, they also not, they also don't know anything, about you. And, you know, some, basically don't, have any knowledge on, how to approach, blinds or visual impaired anyway. So it becomes difficult. Even the teachers also do not know how to handle you in school, and school environments are not favorable for, blind. They are not very much accessible, in fact, to blinds, because how, the school is built structurally, is poor. There's almost no consideration for persons with disability at large, you know, like, to build a ramp, to make sure the toilets are accessible. All those things are not considered. So what they consider was just the school is only for a normal person who is not a blind. So then they never considered, people whom they are blind. So as a first timer, some of those things are challenging, to cope with. So when it comes to the other side, uh, educational materials are also almost not existing. You know, when it comes to having your notes, hard to get it. Because you have to do a lot of copying, notes with the braille machine. I know that's the old time braille machines. Not the latest ones which are currently in the developed countries like the US, and so we are still using those brailles machines, the old types, still. So which are hard, to copy with, especially if you have large notes to copy. You know, stigma around the society. When you pass on your way, either going to school or going to your friends, people thinking that you are, begging. People will giving you, small money coins. You know, thinking that you are begging. Pretend some, I would say there's some pretending that they are sympathizing with you. Some, all forms of stigma also in the
Right,
society,
right. I'm
which
I'm
also,
really I'm really 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 glad you're bringing this up. I have said the exact same thing, Lemon, that in America, you see, don't worry, Lemon, there are still challenges even in America. I'm sure you know this, by the way, but it's just important to make a note that even in America, there is discrimination and ignorant people and rude people and people who are lazy. We have it even in America. So I am 100% positive that you have overcome far greater challenges than I. That's not even the question. But still, even in America, we have ignorant people. And when I was growing up, one of the lessons, or one of the things that I noticed was that people were always nice to me and always helpful. And as I grew up, I started to notice that people were a lot more discriminatory.
Yeah,
Uh,
exactly.
well,
As a young
but
guy,
wait a minute, wait a minute,
I,
but wait a minute. Let me solve this. When you're a child, people are not being nice to you. They feel sorry for you, and
sorry for you.
they feel sorry. So that type of behavior is actually discriminating against you to feel sorry. I don't feel sorry. Okay. Lamb, and I'm a pretty blunt guy. I'm a pretty, I'm kind of as, I'm not, um, I'm, I'm pretty nice during podcasts, but let me tell you, you do not want to be on my you do not want to be on my naughty list. Try you don't want to be on my bad side. I'm someone who takes things very seriously. So really, what it is when you're a little boy, either growing up in Gambia or here in the States, you think that people are being nice to you, but really they aren't. What it is that they feel sorry for you. And when you grow up, you have to discover that truth. So it's like, even for me, Lem, and even in my teaching, I've been podcasting for a year. I'm on Apple, I'm on YouTube, and still, excuse me, just had to clear my throat. Still, um, things are getting more and more difficult every year as I start to notice more things as I grow older. I am 29 years old, so every year I notice more things, and I'm starting to become more aware of the reality of society. And the reality of society is that society is just not very, it's just, and I think I don't know. I think it's a combination of that society sometimes does not have the knowledge, and a lot of times society doesn't care. And if you put the two together, you end up with a lot of discriminatory people and a lot of unnecessary challenges, I think. But what do you think about all of that?
Well, I think, almost the same situation here too. Sometimes, as, young people, young boys, in those days, when they are giving you those coins, you just think that those are good stuff. But really, they are just telling you indirectly, I feel sorry for you. You know,
So in
the only thing
indirect,
you
that's
can be
it's
is, begging on the street.
exactly right. It's
You know,
so it's a really horrible thing to do. It's a really
exactly.
mean. It's a evil. Even as a child, um, I'll tell you a cool story. Um, have have you ever heard of the British tour company called Travel Eyes?
Travel eyes. No,
Yeah, no
I
problem.
don't.
I'll later. I'll send you. They're for some health reason in the world they can't do tours right now. I don't know why that is, but but anyway, seriously, they I took a trip with them to East Swatine a few years ago. I think it was 2018. And one day they took us to a school in East Swatine to show us like school. And uh, the professor of the teacher person in the class wanted me to speak to their pupils, to their students, about life in America. And I'll never forget this. One little boy who was maybe 7 years old, 6 years old, 7 years old, or 8 years old, raises his hand, and in the Swazi language, he asks me, "In America, what do you do when people bully you?" And that one question, I still remember it today
Wow.
because and you'll understand why I say this. It shows that children understand discrimination. It shows that children understand being hurt by others. And that question really really resonated with me. I'll never forget that. And that was an impressive question for a child to ask. So back to your experience, right, of children pretending to be nice to you, giving you coins. Well, that's really mean. That's really, and in America, if someone did that, it would be, for American standards, that would be like socially completely disrespectful and completely unacceptable to do that. So that doesn't surprise me. Um, I don't know. Did you, as a little boy, did you take the coins, or did you just run, just sort of walk away, or how did you manage that situation?
Well, as a little boy, those days, getting interested in buying lot of small sweets, to eat. So I normally took most of those coins. It was just really later, and I realized that, in fact, not only me but many of my colleagues will realize that you know these coins are not even giving to you just for the sake of giving it to you, but the moment certain people see you and you are blind, one is just there is only one thing that comes up straight to their mind. That is, you are begging, you know, especially
Hmm.
when they just see you alone on the street, going about your business. The only thing will probably come into their mind will be, yeah, you are begging. And sometimes this coins giving is not given to you by children, your fellow children. No, they are given to you by elders, in the community, elders in the society, you know,
Really?
in the
That's strange.
transportation vehicles, yeah.
Hmm. That's very concerning, because I would
Mm.
expect an adult to be able to understand not to do that. But you know, I think I mean, it's sad. It's really sad, Layman. But I think people from country to country simply have different knowledge about the world. So maybe, to me, I would say, well, an adult should know better. An adult should know not to treat someone like that. But maybe I'm looking at it kind of directly and from a bird's eye view, maybe. But maybe in Gambia, people don't know that. Maybe they don't know that that's the wrong thing. Who it's hard to tell.
But it's it's
Mhm.
it's a wrong thing, but they have certain concepts. Sometimes when you get this, or example, when you come out from a family that you have two or three blinds, they'll just think that it's a curse, from God, or curse from the devils.
Right.
your family member, it's cursed.
Yeah. Yeah.
They always take it in the bad situation.
I
Some
was.
also feel like blinds cannot take care of themselves, but all what they can do is to be begging. So that's why automatically when they just see you, they will start giving up, giving those small coins. Or sometimes there's just a word called lesan. That is, oh, sorry. That means you are blind. Finish. You see, all those are
Mm.
discrimination. How can
So
you
that
just
so
say,
you have one.
just
So in
saying,
your
oh,
you,
sorry.
right. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Sure. Got it. So and in the language in Gambia, which I'm sure there are hundreds of languages there, but in that one particular language, you have one word that describes that situation of being blind. That's very,
Exactly.
yeah,
You know,
yeah.
yeah.
That's very concerning too, and very interesting that certain languages do that. Um, and so, in my second language of French, by the way, this is a fascinating thing about society. The word for blind in French is aveugle, and I tell people in French, "Je suis aveugle," I am blind. But if I say that to people, they kind of have a strange reaction. So they say, you should say, I cannot see, je peux pas voir. But
Uh,
you got it. But Lemon, you should spend a lot more time speaking English and podcasting in English, because your English is perfect. You may be a little nervous, but you're understanding everything. You're doing great with English, man. But yeah, it just sounds weird to me. Like in American English, I would never say. I cannot see. Like who says that? Who says I cannot see? No.